Welcome to solverfy.
Today we'll be solving question number 41 from chapter 8 of Principles of Microeconomics. This question asks us to solve for some values of a computer store selling computers for a certain fixed cost and a certain given marginal cost. With these values, it wants us to find the variable cost, total cost, and average variable cost. So from the fixed cost and marginal cost, we know that the variable cost is the cost of production that increases with each quantity produced. So at the 0th unit, we don't have a variable cost. At the first unit, our variable cost is equal to our marginal cost. At our second unit, our variable cost is equal to the sum of our first and second marginal cost. And we just continue on to solve for the variable cost using this method. Now to find the total cost, we know that the total cost is the sum of the variable cost and the fixed cost. So we can just do the sum of the fixed cost and the variable cost. Now for the 0th unit, we just have the fixed cost, which is $250. But if we drag this formula down, we can get the total cost for all 7 units. Now to get the average cost, we know that the average cost is the total cost divided by the quantity. So we get the total cost divided by the quantity. Of course, for our first or our 0th unit, we can't do this. So we start on the first unit doing the first cost, the cost of the first unit, total cost divided by the quantity, which is 1, and that's $9.50. And we can do the same thing we did in the last column and just drag this value down. Now to find the average variable cost. We know that the formula for the average variable cost is the variable cost divided by the quantity. So here we have the variable cost divided by our quantity. And for the same column, we can just drag this formula down, and there we go. Now we have our values for variable cost, total cost, and average variable cost. Part 2 of this question wants us to find the zero profit point and the shutdown point for this company. Now we know that the zero profit point is going to be where the marginal cost equals the average cost. And so we can see that the marginal cost equals the average cost when the price is $450. So our zero shutdown point is $450, or zero profit point. Our shutdown point is where the marginal cost equals the average variable cost. So we can see that the marginal cost equals the average variable cost at 400 or 5 units. So the price at the shutdown point is $400. The third part of this question wants to know that at a price of $500, will this company be making a profit or a loss? In order to find that out, we're going to calculate the total revenue and the total profit for each unit sold. So at a price of $500, the total revenue is going to be 500 times the quantity sold. At the 0th quantity, it'll be 0, but if we pull it down, we can see the total revenue for the amount of products sold up to 7. Now our total profit is going to be our total revenue minus our total cost. So at the 0th unit, it'll be negative $250, but as we go up, we'll move into the positives. In order to find our overall profit, we want to sum the profit that we make selling 0 through 7 units. And as we can see, we'll make $100 of profit. So at $500, we will make a profit, and it will be a profit of $100. However, they also want us to sketch this problem, and we can see through the sketch that we will also be making a profit. Here I have sketched the marginal cost, and average variable cost that we just calculated in the table previously. As we can see, the zero profit point is here at $450, and the shutdown point is here at $400. If we decide to have a price of $500, setting the price here, we can graph our profit towards the average cost, and then a straight line back to the axis. And this box is going to be our profit. The final part of the question wants to know whether we will be making a profit or a loss if our price is $300. So we can do exactly what we did before, but change our price to $300, and it will change our total revenue and our total profit. As you can see, our profit would be negative $5,500, and we would not make a profit at all, we would make a loss. And not only can we see this from our table, we can also see it in the chart. Looking at the same chart that we saw before, we can plot our loss at a price of $300. So here, $300 to the marginal cost line, and then up to the average cost line, we can plot what would be our loss. And this area of this box would be our loss of $5,500.